Hello, everybody. Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. All right, I want to get into two things before we get into our conversation today and before I bring Tina on. Well, all right. If you see the picture on when you pull up this show today, Sean David Martin, he's back in jail. No reason why. He's dying. He's got cancer from his throat down into his lungs. They brought him back saying they're going to give him better treatment in jail, which is a bigger lie. He was framed years ago. They brought 150 charges against him, none of them provable, no witnesses, no proof of any of it. And since he's a sovereign citizen, they wouldn't let him testify for his own defense. And they did a number on him in jail. They moved him a couple of times. Now he's in a hardcore prison. They did everything, every kind of torture. They removed his retina. They did all these things. They put him in a solitary room for 60 days naked. They did a lot of things that were really illegal if it was brought out to the public. But he was trying to do paperwork to get out because he's an incredible, smart person. And they actually did operations on his eyes. They took the retina out of one eye. They kind of tried to blind him on the other eye. They were pulling his teeth out. They were doing all kinds of things to him. But his lawyer got him out. He was out a couple months ago. He did a show with Kerry Cassidy. He mentioned a few things on there. A couple of days later, they arrested him, put him back in jail. Talked to his wife. His wife said, now they're going to kill him. All right, people, if you care about the UFO world, he's a person that needs to be out there mainstream. He was the person bringing people to Area 51 before anybody else was. And he would rent a van. They would take 6 people, drive up there, and hang out to watch this giant mothership come in. All right. He did a lot of other things besides that. He wrote one of the most important books in the UFO world, which is basically all facts, if you're interested. But he's not going to be alive too much longer. I don't think so. Now, the other name I want to bring up real fast is John Ford. He's in Long Island Nut House. They said he had uranium. They said he had a barrel of uranium, which is the most ridiculous statement. And they said he was going to put it in politicians' toothpaste to kill him. Wherever they came up with that story was mind-boggling because he was one of the people involved with MUFON. He had a tiny little piece of uranium which he used to check his Geiger counter. All right. He filmed the best video ever shot of a ship crashed on Long Island. I saw it. I went out to where it crashed. All right. After that, they arrested him. They put him in a nut house. And every year, the government comes out and says they got to reevaluate him before he can go to trial. If he went to trial, they'd have to release him because there's no evidence of anything he did. But in the interim, they're going to keep saying he's crazy and keep him in a nut house. Basically, he put 4 videos out around the planet. If he gets killed, they get released. And that's the video of the ship crashing on Long Island. People, if you want to get to the truth, we got to work together and do the right things. MUFON sold out. They won't even deal with him at all, which is pretty sad. They sold half of their files to Bigelow years ago for about $86,000. I tried to work with them and had nothing but problems. They never answered my calls, never did anything, follow-ups. I mean, I had more important UFO stuff than 99% of the people calling in, and they wouldn't even talk to me or call me back. They keep saying, oh, we'll call you. Lots of people, and I said, yeah, did they have any proof of anything going on? Well, when I was working with John Edmonds at this Stardust Ranch, we had facts of alien ships, all kinds of weird stuff, and they wouldn't even get involved. Kerry Cassidy came out there even, and she shot a picture of a ship right over the house. We shot pictures of aliens, and MUFON wouldn't even get back to us. I think they're the biggest fraud company out there, claiming to be top UFO. They just take information. They don't do anything with it, and they don't do anything important. All right. I just wanted to put that out there because I'm so upset about what I'm hearing, what's going down. I'm going to get into that whole UFO disclosure and what's happening with that, what's being released and what's not being released. So here is put my co-host on, Tina. Say hello, everybody, to Tina.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tina Bird here in Southampton in the UK, and I'm ET Girl on Facebook, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. It's good to be with you and Tommy this week. And yeah, today, if you would like to come on the show, we're going to be talking about truth and UFOs. If any of you have any questions or would like to come on, prepping, yeah, sure, come on and ask us some questions far away. Or if you have some news for us or something you'd like us to talk about, then please let us know or come on to the show. The only thing really I've got to report, I must admit, where I've been busy at work, I haven't been keeping up with the news. I filmed a rod. Is it a rod outside the back of my house? I had my CCTV up the other day, and I filmed a rod. I really caught it on camera. Everyone said it's a good picture, so I've got a piece of that. The big news here in the UK, which is, sorry, I just keep turning my head because it just flashed up on my TV screen over there, is that we're lifting all COVID restrictions here in the UK. So numbers, we've got thousands of people, new cases every day, rising right up there. But the deaths are very minimal, say 19 a day, 20 a day. So because the deaths are very low, because I think America's behind us, with 68% of the population over there vaccinated. But here in the UK, we're way up in like the percentages of adults vaccinated. Just going to tell me now, there has been 28,773 reported cases today, 37 deaths, 128,000 something. I just couldn't miss that then, and 76,962 first doses and 147,814 doses today. Total, that's 33.8 million people that have had their second dose. Hospitalisation in the third wave is lower than the second wave. And from the 19th, in 2 weeks' time, just reading that story quickly as it's just flashing up as headline news. Be right, so they're saying now, because the infections are 28,000 a day from nothing, that because people are getting it and they're not dying of it because they're fully vaccinated, so the deaths are minimal. Because the deaths are minimal, I think they're going for herd immunity now, so they don't really care or mind how many people die. They just don't want you, they never did, they just don't want you overwhelming the hospitals in one go, so they can cope with people dying each day, just not in huge numbers. So it's like they don't want us draining their resources. But they said that they can live with about 28 to 100 people dying a day, better than the thousands, but really nobody should be dying any day. But because people are double vaccinated, the death number's down. So they're not worried about people contracting or spreading it, because that's up in like 28,000, nearly 30,000 people a day. That's per day registered new cases. So 28,000 new cases per day. We're here in the UK. That's the Delta variant, by the way. But there's hardly any US, 20 deaths, but that's with both. We have 2 or 3, 4 different variants, I think, now in the UK. So overall, we've only got less than 20 deaths in the UK a day. Thousands of people, over 28,000 people a day being with it. But in 2 weeks' time, on the 19th, so Monday the 19th of July, in Britain, you will no longer be required to wear a mask. They're lifting all social distancing measures. You can have full capacity in football venues, nightclubs, like zoos or outdoor theme parks. There's no limit on how many people you can meet outside or inside your home. Absolutely no restrictions whatsoever. They say in an indoor enclosed space, maybe, but that's to be announced on the next Monday, I think the 12th, but the Monday after. As of Monday the 19th of July, there is no more COVID. There is still a pandemic on, but there's no more COVID restrictions in the UK. They're lifting them all, so they are going for herd immunity because they want to get ready for the winter. So they're also talking about a booster vaccine to be applied this winter to people, so a third jab.
Well, my viewpoint on that, I won't get the shot. My partner got one, and she's going to go for her second shot. I believe that the facts that have been coming out over the past 6 months in detail, what it contains, how dangerous it is, what it's going to do to people in the future, and everything else about it. Now, they just released online, just 2 days ago, a child, 12 years old, just got the shot, and he died in his sleep that night. All right. They're also saying people fully vaccinated are getting it. So they're begging people to keep wearing their masks. So it's contradictory to the idea that once you get your shot, you're okay, which is delusional.
No, they're telling you that here in the UK. Once you have both, or they're just flashing up a bit more news. Once you have both vaccinations, that only gives you so much coverage. You are not fully vaccinated against it. It's not 100%, and you can get pretty much a daily COVID. 6th of July to the 19th, they're looking at cases. So they're estimating another 50,000 cases per day. Nightclubs are going to, sorry, our number's down below 12% here in the UK. You should be full.
Johnson is only 86% accurate. The other one's only 92% accurate.
Yeah, I've had the AstraZeneca. I've had both mine. But they're saying now the infection rates reduced from 13 to 3. They're scrapping all social distance messages, and just as it's going up. But yeah, they're now saying that if you have a Pfizer or another, if you have 2 different jabs, that's you're even more covered. But whether that's proven or not, the scientists reckon that's the best way to go. Have 2 different types of jabs. That way you are more covered. But if you I still urge people, if you want to wear a mask from the 19th, you have to in England by law till the 19th. After that, it's no longer mandatory, so you can wear one if you wish. But if you're fully vaccinated, you still need to. I would wear one personally because you can still get it, and there is a chance that you can still die from it. So yeah.
Well, in the United
They're just going for herd immunity now.
In the United States, they promote a lot of different medicines for a lot of different things. But they'll read you about 20 things that it can cause, including death. Meaning, if you take a pill for the flu or back pain or whatever you're taking these pills for, can cause a lot of other problems. So they're not even describing the problems that people are having from the shot alone, never mind the death that's going to occur. Now, the other thing is the actual deaths that are happening. They're happening in other countries, but again, I want you to check out, do it yourself. Go online, go to computer speed, and go down to the spot where it says 5G, pull up the map of all the 5G towers around the planet. Overlay that over where all the major spreads of the virus are. You'll see they're exactly the same. So
I'm just saying now that the other countries, I'm not quite sure, I just missed a bit. They're saying about other countries now. They're saying in the UK now, 33,870,000, whatever it was, have had 64% of all adults have had 2 doses.
I can't remember what the other one was. Get everybody to try to get everybody else to do it. Like, when it comes to the end, when they want to make everybody have it, we got to see what's going to happen at that point. Now, I won't get it no matter what they do.
They're also saying now, if you've heard, there was a case, it was on the news the other day, that a gentleman wanted a vaccine passport to go abroad on holiday, and you have to have one here in the UK to go to a different country, a country that accepts a UK citizen because of all the different variants. Anyone that's had the, I'm not sure if it's the AstraZeneca or the Pfizer, whichever one that was manufactured in India, isn't recognised to be safe enough to go on a COVID passport. So if you like any extra vaccine goes to a different country, we've obviously received some from India, or had some made in India. They're sent to us, and people are going abroad with these vaccine passports, and they've been turned away from a few countries because the vaccine they used in India is not recognised and not safe enough to be used on a vaccine passport.
Well, I think it's all a bunch of hogwash because it's set up for a reason, and by the time anybody understands the true reason why they're doing that, it's going to be too late. When the ex-vice president of Pfizer came out and said anybody that gets the shot will die within 2 years, was he dreaming? Was he fantasizing? The ex-vice president. So I would assume what he said, I would take it with some truth to it. And all the other scientists and doctors that says it's dangerous, it's toxic. And they're not talking about the other viruses that we have. They're not talking about the flu that we have and all the people that died with that every year. They're not talking about anything. Anybody that dies of this virus. And second of all, they try to make the numbers fit to where they want them to fit. So I don't know who that is, but I'm not going to get it. But we need to change the subject back to UFOs.
So while Tommy's just having a look at that, here in the UK, noises and all the rattle and jazz that are surrounded the big letdown in June. It's supposed to be all this, and I did call it. I did say that people were expecting all this UFO disclosure. I said they're going to be disappointed. It won't happen, or if so, it'd be very minimal. Since then, it's fizzled out, and I've heard absolutely nothing here in the UK. So anyone that is in the States that does have some up-to-date news, what's happened, what has the findings been released, what are they going to release, and so anything further. But here in the UK, that's kind of really dropped right off. I've heard some news about people filming UFOs, and there's some lights appeared in the sky somewhere. Again, I haven't been up to my news this week. But here in the UK, not far from actually where I live each year, we have a great amount of crop circles, and this year is no different. They started appearing a few weeks ago, and they're starting to pick up pace like they do all like by the Avebury Stones, the other side of Winchester, Wiltshire, all the places that aren't too far, the next county over for me as well. So they're all quite in the local kind of area to me. But that'll be quite interesting. I might go if I went to see one last year, and the year before we went to see one or two in the Avebury Stones and things like that. So I'm hoping to go when I get some free spare time this year to go and see another crop circle and take my Geiger counter and some readings and speak to some people there. But I have noticed, just on looking at the crop circles so far this year, just in the UK, I haven't looked at other countries' crop circles, is there are circles and they've all got some type of hexagon in them. So I think it is a kind of message, but what it is, well, no. Tommy, can you tell me about the UFO disclosure in the States? Because it's died out in the UK. I've heard no news. Please regale me.
Well, all right. We have a lot of views of what's happening. A couple people came out and said they got the information from what they sent to Congress. Now, they sent the normal stuff to, quote, open information to the world and out to the United States. The secret information they sent to Congress. All right. Now, somebody said they got the secret information. I kind of brought it up already, but they were talking about the weapons that the government's working with, not UFOs, just the high-tech weapons and technology that they're using, meaning that they can be creating ships and creating this and that and the other thing. All right. Now, what I'm going to get into is the facts that what is the speed of our ship, top speed of our ship, top speed of a Russian ship, top speed of a German ship. All right. Now, the speeds that the body cannot withstand, and the speed of light is one of them. So if they claim that the ship can travel at the speed of light, they're freaking already making up stories.
I do know they have very technological, the people on Earth have very technological equipment at the moment. They do have electric what are those things that fly back? What are they? Drones. So they have electric drones that can reach that can go supersonic speeds. So they have electric drones that they can go supersonic speeds. So we're making hand over fist technology all the time.
Well,
but I do know that.
The idea of a drone doing supersonic speed, Russia attacked Germany, what would they be used for? All right, when you do that kind of speed, you're off away from the planet within seconds. So what good is it? All right, unless you really are planning on hanging out on Mars or Venus. Now, two ships that we had for over 25 years, the Delphi and the Aurora, both of them can travel at high speeds. All right, meaning they did and are capable of going to Mars with it. So now, is that beneficial to us? Of course not. Is it going to be feasible to afford to make more of them? Of course not. Everything about it is useless to mankind as general as the middle class people. Rich people with all these ideas of traveling into space, going up for their free trip up into space, all the money that's going to be created because of that. It's only about money. Everything's based on money. And if we can make billions of dollars putting people up into space for a day or two, having them go on a trip to La La Land in space and things like that, these people are going to be happy, the ones with money. It's not going to help us, middle class, poor people, get on a ship to take a trip up into space. Then again, why would you want to? Well, I like going on rides and a cheap thrill. It's a cheap thrill. Mankind's attached to cheap thrills. Aliens know that. So getting back to what Tina's dealing with is the word abduction. When a person gets abducted, people, it's not what you think it's going to be. It's not a pleasurable thing. I mean, you're going to hear a lot of experiences saying, oh, it was good. They took me here, there, and everywhere. They got zero proof. Now, if you get abducted, what do you think they're going to do with you? Take you to Mars and say, hey, look at this. Look at the scenery here. Check this out. Check this out. Why would they do that? Why would they worry about getting you to see something on Mars? But outside of that, when a person gets on a ship, they need something. And it's not to talk to them, and it's not to teach them about God or anything like that. It's called, I would say, there's three things: blood, semen, ovaries, all right, which they need, and basically the whole body for food. So outside of that, they're not here to be our teachers in anything. Oh, they're going to teach us when we're ready. And I just heard it over and over again the past week. When we're ready. Ready for what? Aliens to help us do what? You know, these people come up with scenarios and then people believe it. Now, these UFO conferences, one just went off this weekend in the United States, in Laughlin. They had a lot of big name speakers there. My one friend is a scientist. He went there and he said
Are they talking about their own accounts, or they're just going over other people's accounts?
Well, they're going, I don't know, I didn't go. So I don't know how many people were actually so-called experiences or abductees. But abductees, now, the latest information, and Tina, I don't know if you know this, they're saying Travis Walton is a fraud.
Oh no, that is absolute nonsense.
No,
way.
listen. The person that helped him came out and said it was fake. We set it up. His brother, all these people are coming out. All right, I don't believe him anyway. I wanted to. He suddenly became a healer. He walks
I think
around.
they're setting Travis
I know you believe him, Tina. That's your choice. All right.
Well, see, you can take people's word for it. I don't care who's. You either take people's word for it, don't. For me, you have to see things face to face. So to hear people's accounts, it's like seeing like a pre-made show or reading a book. I like to see people face to face and look them in the eye. Now, I've met Travis Walton. I've spoken to him on 2 occasions, and I've spoken to him about that, and I listened to him lecture as well. And he is telling the truth. Certain aspects of what he says, you could really only know, I think, as an abductee. If people says, oh, well, this happened and this happened, but until you describe something or you hear something well, he said something, I really don't know what it was. It wasn't until he started talking, and I suddenly felt scared. And I'm not one of those people, and it just brought the horror back. And I've heard other people say, oh, this happened, this is my account, and I thought, it didn't ring a bell. Everyone's account's different because everyone is different. And when he started speaking, and I've heard lots of people speak, the horror, it touches you, and you I think you genuinely know. And when I spoke to Travis, there's not many people. There's maybe been 1 or 2 others, maybe 3, that I could turn around and say, because I've met them, I've listened to what they've said, I've listened to people question them, and but like I said, I'm no judge of character or anybody else, and I can only tell you what's happened to me. I can't tell you about other people's accounts. But for me, what Travis said, what has happened to him, I believe to be the truth. And seeing it in someone's eyes, and it's not you see like the fear. When you're actually physically close to someone, you see the fear, or it's like waking up and seeing a being next to you and they're looking at you. It's not till they're looking you in the eye, you know, and you know, and he knows.
Okay, that I agree with that part of it, except now they showed a bunch of pictures. One, when they got paid. They were given money. They were given $25,000, $2,500, whatever it was, and they're all smiling with the money like this, right? Getting paid for something like that is not something I'd be proud of. All right. Second of all,
was that reimbursement from the state though, wasn't it?
Whatever it was, they showed these checks in their hand and they're smiling, they're holding it up and everything. But the problem is, all right, I talked to him a lot. He was supposed to come on my show recently. He was doing a conference a couple months ago. He has this hand, big hand, and he's going around healing people with. Okay. But I talked to him years ago, and he couldn't go into details of what happened on the ship. His details are getting filled in every year, like every person that says they're abducted that probably aren't. Keep creating and adding things to it. That's why he wants to do his movie over. Because, oh, it's all fake, it's wrong, it's not right, and blah, blah, blah. All right. I don't care. His story is useless. It doesn't help anybody. All right. He doesn't know what happened on the ship. He doesn't know any of the reasonings why and what, except suddenly he became a healer.
That is one thing I point out for abductees. People say, "Why don't you know why don't you know what makes you so special?" I'm not special. Why were you chosen? I don't think I was chosen. They either taken me as a mistake or they're taking me for something they need. I don't know why I'm taken. I think nobody ever knows the answer to that question. If you say, "Yeah, I know why I'm taken because I'm spiritual," then that is absolute crap. I don't. For me, in my case, I don't know. I don't know why it's happened to me. I didn't choose it, and I certainly didn't ask for it. And 99.9% of people who've been abducted, truly been abducted, will tell you that.
Oh, no, I'm not saying they know it. Now, the person I know who's really getting big in the UFO world and stuff like that claims she agreed to get abducted in this lifetime. See, people like that pull it in, fit it into their stories, and then they take it and exaggerate it. I do the show with you, Tina, because I believe you, period. Like I said, I talked to Travis many times, and he was talking to TJ, who I did my show with for a long time, and they were close, and we were going to have a council. He was going to be part of it and everything. He was supposed to get back to me about this hand and healing and all that. Again, I know another woman, I can't remember her name. I did a UFO conference out in Area 51 out there, and she said that she had a month's missing time where she was on a ship on the moon. There were 2 aliens on the ship and all that. She worked for the government. She was actually the one responsible for finding the ships and all that kind of stuff. All right. She couldn't even come out to talk. Every time she started talking, she started crying. And this is like a year after it happened. And she couldn't even deal with the situation of what she was dealing with as far as being raped on the ship and all those kind of things. But like you said, you can tell by people how real. People have bad dreams and it becomes reality to them. I mean, the difference between past lives and reality is very, very hard line to draw the difference between. When people have a bad dream or a good dream and say they're the queen of this or the king of that or the president of this, it could have been a dream and they accept it as a past life experience. The same as if I had many dreams where I was abducted and all kinds of things. I could have made it my reality, because they were the most scariest things in my life. But I won't, because I know the separation. I'm a little bit aware of that.
Just to pick up on what you just said, it's just I didn't even know I was being abducted. As a kid, you're learning. Sometimes if it's something that's happened to you or you don't realise what's going on or you're not quite sure, and even people don't want to believe it or it dissolves and life moves on, you don't know until you address the situation if it's something that's continued throughout your life or you've had a one-off experience and it's stuck with you and you can remember that. It's like you don't know you've been abducted. It's not until someone points out or says, well, hold on, this isn't right, this isn't normal, this is not supposed to happen. Or then you listen to other people's stories, think, hold on, well, that's happened to me. And 90% of people, I'm sure there's millions of other people just like me that have not come. The only reason, so I wouldn't have come forward, the only reason at the time is something was going on and there was a source. It was in the bedroom and it was 2 feet from me. I kid you not. I was laid on my bed. I'm here. This is there. My partner was gone. I presume they were putting me back. This thing was stood 2 feet from me and I couldn't move. My eyes bulged, like popped forward or back. Made pop forward, and this thing was there, and there's like bluey green light filled the room on my partner's side of the bed, and he was gone. And I presume they just put me. It wasn't right, and from the next morning, first thing he said is like his throat and that hurt and things, and I thought, oh God. Then we had the scans because we had like the blood issue. We both had our stomach ulcers in the same spot inside of our bodies from the same night. And my partner was a bit worse than me, and his health deteriorated seriously. They said to us that he was dying of cancer, that he had it in his body, and they couldn't locate it. He was having blood tests and scans, and we thought it was the end. It was that bad, and I didn't know what to do. And I thought, do I tell him what I saw? What I saw in the bedroom? What's happened? He didn't remember. He didn't have a clue. It's only because I saw it that I knew what had happened. And then I think that's the straw that broke the camel's back. If he hadn't needed, or I needed answers to find out how to help him in this situation, I wasn't feel like Gary. I reached out to Gary Hasseltine after like a long time because I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who would believe me. I needed serious answers. I needed help. If I could have like crossed the planet to get him help, I would have done it. So he put me in contact with this guy, David Hodgson. He said he's the abduction specialist. I said, what abduction? He said, you need to make an abduction report. So I spoke to David Hodgson for about 3 hours. And it all came out kind of thing and what have you. And he said, and he reassured me, which was a good thing. He said, and I'll try and find out for you, Tina, however, cases of like men coming over this. He said, but the cases I've come over, a few men have not made it. And then I really panicked. I thought, oh my God. He said, but there's a case of someone who has gotten, over it and, has pulled through. And I was kind of interested in any treatment he'd had or his case. So he was trying to like help me and reassure me that way. That's the only reason I came forward. After all, I could have come forward 20 or 30 years ago, but I didn't really realise what was happening. I wanted to put it behind me. I don't think people would believe me. So for these people that come forward, say, yes, this and this, it's not. It's heartbreaking. It affects your life. It's absolutely mortifying. And you don't know why it's going on. You really don't.
All right. What I want to add is, okay, I'm going to base this on my facts, my life. All right. I'm probably one of the oldest people in the UFO world right now that had actual experiences, many different kinds. All right. That was working with abductees, was working with people with missing time. All right. I was working with women that lost their children before anybody else was involved in the UFO world. All right. I started when I was 6 years old, and that was 1958. All right. And at that time, I mean, yeah, things were happening in the UFO world. Things would come out here and there. But people with actual experience were not talking in the UFO world. When Barney Hill came out, I mean, the first couple, and they were a mixed couple, black and white, which was a hard thing at that time to come out and say they were abducted, was really hard for them to do it. And they did. They were the kind of people that put their life on the line to bring the truth out. Very few people in the UFO world can do that or will do that. All right. Now, all these speakers, 90% of them have no experience with a ship, with an alien, or abduction. All right. So when they talk about it, it's what they read and heard from many other people. So for me, when I was working with abductees, doing past life regression, or I call it soul regression and things like that, bringing them back to being abducted, why they lost time. If a person has missing time, you could go back into the subconscious and find out what happened during that time frame, which was critical because most people are abducted and they don't know it.
Yeah, and I back Tommy up on that 100%. Tommy's hitting there right on the head there. There are millions of people out there. Because when I was up there, I wasn't the only person on this with one of these big ships. This time I was on the conveyor belt. I saw hundreds upon hundreds of people up there. They were all awake, but asleep. They were all like kind of frozen. They were, and they probably didn't even realise they'd been abducted. So Tommy is definitely right. People don't even realise they've been taken.
But here's the scary part of it all. People like Stephen Greer said there's no bad aliens, that they're good and they're going to help us. That's ridiculous. People go disappearing.
So if there's no bad aliens, that the ozone wouldn't be dying, the earth would be dying, there'd be no AIDS, no disease, no COVID, no wars, clean energy, people would be dying of starvation. No?
See, they don't want the truth. They like these stories. Again, I'm a rebel. I go on top of every one of those speakers daily. I spend half of my day writing them letters. Grow a pair of balls and come on and debate me. All right. Now, the fact is, I'm going to be speaking with somebody tomorrow. His name's Eugene Braxton. I want to have a discussion. I said, I'll bring him on my show if we work it out. I don't know if I can or not. He claims to be the top mystic on the planet. He claims he could stop time. He claims he could do a lot of things. So yeah, I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him offline, because if he gets into an argument, I'm not going to bring him on the show. If we could talk without getting into an argument, I'll bring him on. I don't bring people that lie on my show. If I bring somebody on, I have to feel 100% inside myself that they're a good person, like Tina, all right, and Sasha, and people like that. I don't want to bring storytellers on. I don't want to bring people that have great delusional ideas. All right. For me, I experienced an alien. I experienced ships. I experienced Bigfoot. I experienced spirits. I was doing ghost busting when I was 16. So I know about all aspects of that. And very few people were into that. I was a witch at 16. And in Jersey, where I live, they put signs on, if you know a witch, put their name on this flyer and we'll burn their house down. Nobody believed in witches or accepted it when I was young, except one of the people I knew. She was a wrestler and a lawyer, and she was a really big woman.
Never mind, big word. Do you know that
went,
they hung the last person in the 60s for witchcraft here in England? That ain't that long ago.
well, she went to court, overturned the law, and made witchcraft a legal religion in New Jersey. All right. At that point, then it started changing. I mean, it wasn't like you saw these signs everywhere. Do you know a witch? They were blowing up cars and all kinds of stuff. But I mean, I went up to Salem when I was a witch. I went up there, and a lot of people weren't killed in Salem, even though, hundreds and hundreds. No, it wasn't like that. But also, I was working with one of the top mediums in the United States for years. And she channeled whoever I wanted that were in a space where they could be channeled. I proved everything she said. I didn't take one word she said as a grain of salt. She channeled Josette, which was a witch who was killed at the stake at 14 in Salem. And I got a lot of information from her. But all the information of things she would tell me about these, she hired, channeled a Viking, 14 years old, that died. And she goes, oh, he wants to talk to you. And I talked to him, and I brought him on a trip with me. She told me everything that happened. So I challenge everything, especially when it comes to psychic and all that kind of abilities, because I went through them. I know how real they are, but I also know how dangerous they are. There's dangers to being psychic at every level. Realize you're starting to play God in this reality. If you could read the future for 1 minute, just 1 minute, can't even get my finger there, 1 minute, you can change reality daily. You can win all the money from a casino. You could do all these things at any time.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. I mean, people say it. I was doing another show with a bunch of different shows on the same thing, and the one lady claimed to be saying, I could do anything I want. Well, I go to a casino and get some money and help the poor children. I could do that anytime. I said, well, then why don't you? You know, these people say they can do things. All right. Now, the new woman, Caroline Corey, says she could levitate a piece of paper. She put the movie out. She's promoting it again, Among Us. And I'm sorry, I watched it. I had to watch it. I wanted to see where she was going. She's trying to make it look good, that interbreeding is a good thing, that they're coming down here and breeding with us. Really? And that they've been abducting us. And they actually talked to people that admitted that they allowed the wife to get inseminated by an alien. I mean, are these people really that perverted and twisted? But she's making it sound good. All right, watch the movie Among Us. You'll see what I'm trying to say. But she makes it sound good. She's got a smile on her face, and she's got these people smiling, and everybody thinks it's a good thing. You want to be part of the alien? Go right ahead. There's nothing, and see why I'm going to talk about it a little bit when Tina leaves, about the show, the workshop I'm going to be doing, because it's time for the truth to come out, and if people are ready for it, I'll give them what I know.
It's time for the Geiger counter to come out.
Time for her Geiger counter.
So, guys,
but I mean,
me and Tommy, I was ill one day. Tommy suggested that I get a Geiger counter, and I did, and I was quite surprised when it went off. So I went to Amazon and I bought this on Amazon. Tommy has an identical one, which he's bought, and he's in Hawaii with his. We both bought ours I bought mine on Amazon. There's the make, and there's the number and the stuff on the back, the information. To turn it on, you put this switch here, and the top one there, as you see, is a volt. Sorry, my nails is volt. I've got these are bruises under my nails. You see the black stuff. So this is volts per meter, and the bottom is there. It's micro testers that measures radiation. So we turned it on, and Tommy's is flashing now because he's getting volts per meter electrical magnetic field from his computer. I've got a smart computer indoors, and it doesn't give off any radiation, and it doesn't give off any volts per meter. So the closer Tommy holds his to his, it will go off. Unfortunately, the closer I hold my Geiger counter to me, it starts going off. And I came in the room the other day, and Marco knocked the table, must have knocked it on, and this thing was going schizo. So yeah, so I'll try it now. So we're going to go down there. And it's saying, what's that?
I don't see it.
2017, 2218.
All right. See, now, just so you know, people, it's not possible for a person to get up and down in radiation. All right. It's not like something that grows, stops, pops up, disappears. It's impossible. So what's happening to her is not normal. I talked to many scientists about it. My brother, he's a chemist. I've been asking people, how is it possible? Everybody says, well, she must be on something moving. I go, so she's in her house sitting on a chair. She's not moving anywhere. All right. See it? Can you see it? She's radioactive. The other thing that's scary, and the reason why I told her to get a Geiger counter is because she has the symptoms of radiation poisoning. All right. And I'm sure she's not happy about that. And people, when you get abducted, you're being put in a radiation zone, which nobody talks about either.
This thing was flashing and beeping the other day. It went schizo. I came in. It's 13 now on my arm to turn. I don't know if you can see that now.
But she's radioactive, people. All right. And I still keep saying they're keeping an eye on her, keeping her alive because they need her for reasons, which we're not going to get into right now.
So it's going 30, 29, and 30 there.
See, people, it's not a trick Geiger counter. It's not one that set up for magic to do tricks with it or nothing like that. It's a simple Geiger counter. The same one I bought. It's funny. She bought hers. I bought mine. We didn't know where we were going to get it.
37 on my neck there, on my jaw.
But the serious part of this is the symptoms that she has are scary. All right. Now, if you watch the movie Silkwood, I think it was, shows the effects of radiation, shows how they couldn't stop the one girl that got exposed to it and she was going to die. It's not a friendly thing, radiation. It's
red dashes over me, my fingernails, I've lost teeth.
But I say she's protected because it's not getting to the point where it's killing her, which it could.
I lost hair.
She's got all those symptoms. She's passing out, falling down. She's falling down the stairs. She's doing all these things.
Went over and went head back to the lamppost, and that was it. Yeah.
She's got a lot of things that you do get when you have radiation poisoning. So I really feel, my viewpoint, it's just an idea that the aliens are keeping her alive for a reason. The reason is she can communicate.
I don't think it's a good one.
No, I think it's because she can communicate with her children on a ship, and they don't know why. And they're keeping her alive to understand that because they all have her knowledge. So all of them
that was quite unnerving.
So I mean, that's her story, and I'm just telling you what she said many times. So people, we try to keep the show real. We try to bring the facts out, not stories and not make-believe. Now, I just saw a story of Bud Hopkins put out again about the most important story he did. Now, I don't like to talk about other people's stories, but it was important because Congress was going across the Verrazano Bridge and all the cars were frozen on the bridge. While they were frozen there, out of a window in a building in New York City, a woman levitated out and was put up on a ship. And they all had to see it.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So now, weeks, within a month, a couple people from Congress wrote him a letter.
A policeman who saw it as well.
And a policeman. I got to hear the policeman. But they said, what was it? What really happened? Now, they can't go anywhere with that story. They're not going to either. And they said, you can't use my name either to Bud Hopkins. And he died with whoever they were. I mean, he never told anybody. He should have told everybody before he died. This way we would know. What congressman actually saw that. Congress was in the UN. and the meeting was over. And they were going from from New York City to Newark Airport to fly back to where they came from. And when they were going across the bridge, it happened, I think, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was. And all the cars were frozen, and they all had to see it. So it was a really, man, oh, you blocked out. Somebody's watching us now. That was the first time I ever saw you block out.
You were frozen my end at the same time then. You've been frozen on and off quite a bit, actually.
Oh, but you got frozen too. I mean, I just saw it for the first time ever. So, but people, there's things happening. We have to filter the truth from the lies. Bud Hopkins never saw an alien, never saw a ship, and what he said was only other people's things that he worked with, people that he hypnotized. I did the same thing. I did it before it was public. I wasn't doing it to make a book. I wasn't doing it to make money. I was only doing it to help people deal with the situation. Being abducted is like being raped. And it's part of your life forever. Nobody's going to take it away. Tina's never going to close her eyes and say, I'm never going to remember anything about this again. No, it's not going to happen like that. It'll always be there in the back of the mind.
It does come back to you every now and then. Yeah.
Strange happens to her. She's going to say, oh, no, they're really going to harass me now. I mean, who knows what can happen to her? But they do watch it. She sees ships over her house, so they're not far gone. So I filmed, I've been talking about this for 6 years, this light ship that's been blinking at me wherever I go.
Yeah.
I filmed it 2 nights ago for the first time, really.
Congratulations. Well done.
I'm waiting for Luis
Elizondo
to get back to me because he said he wanted to talk to me. I want to show him before I show it to anybody else. All right. I got a couple other videos, but that's the most important because that's what I wanted to film. One time it was blinking at me 125 times and I had my camera on it. I said, man, this is going to be the best video. And when I went to touch my camera, it was frozen, dead, solid, never recorded anything. I was so upset. I said, the best thing I ever saw, I could have recorded, and I thought I did, and it wasn't there. So when I went to watch this video, I had another one on before it, and it didn't show the ships. I said, oh, no, I didn't get it. And then I went down a couple frames because mine only can film for 3 minutes at a time. So I went down and picked another picture, and there it was. I'm using a laser, shining it at the ship.
I was going to show you a picture of that. My CCTV is going day and night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I've got infrared out there, and I managed to capture, I think is what they call a rod.
To the sky?
No, it's on my property, but something scary happened. My CCTV did black out, but there is the picture there. So let me just bring it up for you. Look at that beauty.
Oh, I read the comments. Somebody said it's the light reflection of a light from the pole on the street. You always get people trying to attack it.
There's no pole. The street lights go out at 1 o'clock in the morning here. This is like 3 or 4 o'clock. The time's actually stamped on there.
People just don't want to admit something could be real. They're living in La La Land.
And there's a different one there just at the front of my house.
See, people, look, like I said, we try to deal with truth here. We don't want to put lies out there. I could fake videos if I wanted to. There's a new program.
Got the time, effort, and money for that.
There's a program online for free where you can put ships in your pictures and things like that and back of you and all that. But I wouldn't do that. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheat. I'm not a thief.
That was over the other side of the road. It's like a ship over the other house across the road in the sky, just over there.
That could be a government ship, and it might be. I'm sure they're watching you as well. I mean, you're online, and like I said, when you go out public, they watch you. I mean, if you said something like, well, you knew that they had a secret weapon and the aliens just took it away or something.
I'll tell him for free. They ain't got to do anything to me. I'll tell him.
I know.
I'm quite happy to tell him,
but they don't want you to tell anybody that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Now, what
I know they don't want me to tell.
John Ford, who shot the best video, I saw it, people. Get him out of jail. Get him out of the nut house. And we'll get that video and show it to the world. It's incredible. It's crystal clear. It's not like every other blurred image of a UFO that you saw. It's crystal clear.
I took that with this phone.
Everybody see it? and it's not a balloon or whatever. I mean, everybody tries to say, well, like what the government classified them as, all these different things. It could be just a phenomena. Oh, it's just a phenomena. Really, it could have happened. It might happen.
I'll zoom this picture, and that's another one. But I'll zoom it back out. It was like a dot in the sky that flashed, and they're all like.
All right, I have many pictures I can't release. I'm not allowed to, because I didn't take them. Somebody else did. But when I worked with Sergeant 18, we shot thousands of pictures, thousands, over a couple years. We used to go out and shoot anywhere from 600 when we had Polaroid camera. I mean, a 35 millimeter camera, to when it became digital. Then we shot 2,000 pictures a night.
See, look how close. So this is my back garden. This is a street light. This here, you can't. That is the house. That's the house roof across the road. So how far is that above the house? Literally, that's across the road from my house. Literally, about 180 yards from my house.
Well, you know, I'm seeing so many ships. A
lot of people reporting across the world that they're getting, they're seeing lots of stuff.
I was going to try to take my camera. Hold on. Let's see how far it goes. I can get it to the window. Oh, no, there's too much sun out there. I tried it the last time. It's not going to work. But I built a deck where I can
you told me. Yeah.
I can actually go out there. I'm standing equal to the roof when I stand on that low platform, and I could lay back on the roof and look at the whole sky. It's a great, great thing I made. I was really debating on making it, and I said it would only be good if I could get as high as the roof, which I am. So I don't have anything blocking my view. So the problem is it's been raining so much here in Hawaii at nighttime. It's like when I go out, be crystal clear, within 10 minutes, the clouds come in and cover the sky.
Well, it's July here in England. Or even yet to have a summer. We've promised this heat wave 28 degrees every day, and all it's done is rain. We've had rain and thunderstorms and yellow weather warnings every day. But while we're on here, just before I go, I'm going to have a quick plug of my books. This is not UFO. It's nothing to do with UFOs, but it's a very good sci-fi book. This is called The Brotherhood of Night and the Guardians of Light by T.A. Bird. Very thick book. There's the back of it. There's my IBSN number. You can buy this on Amazon. You can buy it on download, and you can buy on Amazon Kindle, I believe. You can buy it, and obviously you can buy it in paperback. And you can buy it in Australia now as well. I think that one, and this one as well. So this is a shorter one, short story. This is a romance one. This is a checkpoint. That's me, T.A. Bird, and there's my picture on the back. There I am, better looking days. And there's my IBSN number on the back. You can get this for free with unlimited. So if you have Amazon Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free. You can buy it on download. You can buy it on paperback, free on unlimited, and you can get it on Kindle as well. And you can also buy it in Australia and America and anywhere else around the world. And if you do run into me in Southampton anywhere and you have a copy, I'll gladly sign it for you. And when the COVID's lifted, now the COVID restrictions lifted, I'll be happy to have my photograph taken with you now, because a few people said to me before, and some of my friends and neighbours that know me, could I get a picture? And obviously because of the COVID regulations, I've had to conform. But when the COVID is lifted on the 19th of July, I'll gladly have my picture taken and sign any copies with you. Again, Tommy's going to put his email up in a minute for us. So if you'd like to come on the show, he's going to run it across the bottom. Or if you have a question for the show, or you have a question or an answer from a previous show, please let us know. Tommy also has 2 books, very worthy of download. He's given this man's given you his knowledge from all the years. Take a bit of credit. Just download it. He'll send it to you. It's free. It's free information. You can never, take this opportunity to get free information. If you're an abductee or you're someone genuinely that wants to come on the show and find out more, please. So if you look just to the right-hand side of the screen, Tommy's put his emails up there, people. Please contact Tommy. Email him with questions or answers, dates you'd like to come on the show. We will give you a grilling. We will talk to you. We do like responses and interaction with the public. So, please be ready for that. And, yeah, from me here in England, as always, Tommy, it's great to hear you. And I'm glad you're looking outside on your porch and you built that. And we do touch on subjects. This is real stuff to me and Tommy. These are things that have happened to us, and we do talk about it, whether people like it or not. It's just one of those things. You believe us or not. Again, do your own research, like Timmy says, and I say the same thing. Do your own research. But until next week, I'll leave you with Tommy, and he's been a great co-host today. And I'll leave you. I've been Tina Brady, ET Gal here in Southampton in the UK. Tommy, over to you.
Well, thanks, Tina. I would love
Thank
having you
you.
on. It's such a great person.
Good night.
We'll talk next week. Same time, same place.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, people. Tina has her things we like to talk about. She's not too much into talking about spiritual things. I don't say it's good or bad. It's just that she doesn't want to. So, when you get abducted, you kind of feel pulled back from reality. Like, who's protecting you? She said the government didn't protect her, and they don't. Government doesn't protect anybody from getting abducted. They can't. So, she should get money or be funded to go hospital bills or anything that she needs to cope with that. But for me, I dealt with it since I was 6 years old. Not that I wanted to. I was pulled into it. So my experiences became real at that point, and they just got realer and more real as I kept moving through life. But I started my spiritual quest, and to me, it's much more important than the UFO world. Because you're going to die. You're not going to live more than 125 years on this planet. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? What do you think is going to happen? You're programmed to a lot of things, what you think and assume is going to happen, what you wish and pray for, whatever, however you want to word that's going to go down, and what's real and what's not. On your dying bed, you'll face yourself. And at that point, you'll decide what you think you know, what you don't. And you can tell on people's faces when they go out smiling and happy, or they go out shaking or whatever. Sometimes people are just lucky to go in their sleep. To me, I don't want to be asleep when I leave. I want to be wide awake when I leave. That's for sure. Because if you go to die when you're sleeping, and you wake up out of your body, how do you know you're not just dreaming? I mean, it's going to take a while to bring that back together. Reincarnation happens, and then most people forget everything they ever learned in any lifetime before it. So I'm going to be doing a workshop. And I say like no other workshop ever done, because I'm going to hit things that nobody can talk about, nobody wants to talk about, and nobody wants to find out about. The truth about death, the truth about life, the truth about birth, the truth about reincarnation, the truth about the realms of God, the truth about God. Very few people can say anything about him. I just sent a letter to Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle. And I have a thing with them. They do these 21-day workshops because of Oprah and all these things and making tons of money, feeding people. Be happy. Know what love is. Know yourself. You are yourself. You're not going to become anything other than yourself. Are you going to become a higher level? No, you're not going to become higher level. You're just going to be focusing on yourself. That's all. That's the only thing that's different. Instead of focusing on the world, you might focus on what you want to do, what you feel. I mean, it's not like it's going to be earth-shattering when you get all these psychic abilities and you can levitate and fly and all those other words. I went through all of them when I was younger. They may sound good, but they're not. All right. All these so-called healers and psychics out there. Sorry, people. Are they helping people? Feeling that somebody died and you want to know that they were happy and said happy, they're happy or whatever. Really? When you die, it's not the most happiest thing unless you know where you're going. And most of these people that die do not have a clue, and they don't know anything about reincarnation. So guess what? They're not becoming angels. You don't become an angel when you die. You don't become Superman when you die. All right. So, he's my guardian angel. He protects me. God doesn't protect us here on this planet, not as a human being. So how could some of your family members that died protect you? From what? Oh, well, I could have died. You could have died? When your time and your karma is in place, you will die when you have to, not when you want to. I mean, even suicide's part of karma, because the karma is pushed on you so hard you can't deal with it, and you don't want to deal with it, and you think the easiest way out is suicide. But look, I've been through just about everything. I'm on my 5th book. My first two books I give out for free. If you want them, text me. My third book, you can buy it. My fourth book, you can buy it. I still need to download my fourth book because I want to give it away for free. And the title of that book is The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. I think it's the most important facts for the whole world, including every Christian walking this planet. And there's about 2.5 billion people that are Christians. Now, the Muslim people, that's a little different. There's about 2.2 billion people that are Muslims. So the percentages of those two religions is a big percentage of the planet. Even though there's 2,000 religions to go into Hinduism, all the other words, it gets lower and lower and lower down to a religion like Ekankar, Shab Yoga, and things like that. But what are important? For me, studying as many as I could, two of them have an important truth. Not that they have a lot of truth, they have an important truth. And the most important truth you can learn in this reality, no matter where you are, no matter how much money you have, how many people in your family, or any of that, is the first important thing is to learn that your soul and how to leave the body. That's the first step. I mean, that's where it starts. That's where it all begins. Then the next step in between that is learning about past lives. And then third, meeting with your guides or angels, whatever you want to call them, that are willing to work with you. And there are many for every person that lives on this planet. If the person wants to listen to that, which most of them do not. So yeah, the workshop I'm going to be doing is going to get into every aspect of love which doesn't exist in our reality. Because most people assume love is what they assume it to be, meaning, oh, we're married, we have sex, we have children. What's love have to do with it? Tina Turner's song, what's love got to do with it? Without God, there is no such thing as love. Sorry, people, you can believe whatever you want. Erase God out of the picture. Oh, I love everybody. Really? You love all the starving children, the children being abused? You love everybody? And you're not doing a thing about it if you love them so much? Unconditional love is a man-made fictitious word, and it's really not a good word, even though people say, well, I'm spiritual because I give unconditional love to the world. People are so brainwashed. Now, this workshop that I'm going to be doing will probably be the hardest workshop that anybody could do, touching things that they might not have ever even wanted to think about. It's going to go into the hardest core topics about crib death, how long you reincarnate, how long you stay in the astral plane, and all those kind of things. Can demons take on forms of angels? All these things nobody talks about. When a person says they work with Gabriel, how do they know it was Gabriel? If I came to you and said, I'm Gabriel, as a soul, would you believe it? You just might have to, right? No, you don't. There's ways of channeling anything you perceive when you're out of your body. There's protection, which you need to know. All these words, nobody talks about it. So I said, well, I can teach you protection. Okay, from what? From myself? My ego? My mind? We have so much to learn and so little time to learn it. 125 years is not a lot of time, especially when you get old like I am. Days, weeks, and months disappear so fast. It's like you are in a time machine and it's just whirling around, moving faster and faster. And that faster and faster brings you closer to your death. All right? Again, if you want to live to 100, why? If you live to 100, most of your family is not going to. Meaning you're going to see people you love die around you. Is that what you want? Is that going to make you happy? You know, it's like, well, let's all go together. That would be a nice way to try to do it. But it's not, it doesn't happen that way. You leave by yourself. You come into this world by yourself and you leave the same way. And where do you go? Where'd you come from? All those things are critical. You should know them. If you want to say you are an aware person, you need to know those answers, which I haven't met any that do. People claim all these things. Oh, I went through ascension, another fictitious word that mankind uses, assuming they're spiritual. And the definition of spiritual, does anybody even have a clue what it means? Real simple. It has to do with God. If you don't know God, you don't know anything. Meaning you don't know how, where, why, what's real, what's not, why it's here, why it's not here. All right? Why is hell planet Earth? People don't want to accept that either. And if you think it's heaven, imagine being in heaven and seeing people get abused, raped, and all those words. No, you wouldn't. Well, hopefully you wouldn't in your idea of heaven. But if you think heaven here and now, well, you're not in heaven. And it's not here and now. And we're not becoming a greater consciousness every day. Are you watching the facts? You have to watch reality. You have to be on the news. Not that any of the news is 100% right, but you need to see what's really going on. The building that collapsed and things like that. They're real. Oh, well, it's just a story. No. People, it's time to wake up. There's not much time left to not wake up. Mankind, because of aliens, have been given too much information, too many toys to play with. Tesla was given 200 inventions. 50 of them are deadly weapons, and 2 of them mainstream are destroying our time frame. Well, no, time doesn't. Well, it does exist. And if you play with it, you change reality, you change everything. Good or bad, depending on what you do with that. And you don't know the outcome of good and bad. A lot of bad things happen in the name of doing something good. Every time I think I'm doing something good for my partner, it's always a bad thing. Not knowing the ultimate truth is very dangerous. And since very few people have a slight idea what the ultimate truth could even be, you're living a dangerous path. Tesla and Musk, and Gates, are destroying the planet. Mr. Musk said he's going to have his satellites up in space within 2 months. Meaning he's putting, 26,000 satellites up? He's covering the whole planet. Do you know what that means? By any idea, stretch of the word, idea what it means? It's a danger. The ozone around the planet is very fragile. And when we send rockets through it, it destroys it. Oh, we could redo it. Well, why don't they? Why didn't they? You hear things over and over. The truth is, where are you going? How are you going to get there? And what do you need to do it? Well, I'm going to get into all this stuff. I'm going to give you clues and ideas and things to work with for your benefit, not mine. I'm going to charge for the course. I'm not going to charge a lot, but I think if you don't pay for it, you're not going to respect it. Now, I have a book, How to See a UFO Field Manual. Anybody listen to this that wants it, just send me an email, hawksblood1AOL.com. It's about 200 pages. But if you follow through parts of it, you'll be able to see a UFO, if that's what you want. Again, why do you want to see a UFO? Well, I just want to know that they're real. You want to get pulled into it? Many people want to be on a UFO. Listen to Tina. Listen to people that have been abducted, work with ships or saw ships and see people that have. It's not a pleasurable thing. Nobody came back with gold bricks and all these other things. 2 things I'll say, and I got into this yesterday and the day before. John Lennon was abducted. Most people don't know that. Even people closely around him. He was given something from an alien race. No other person I know in the UFO world was actually given an artifact. Given to him. He gave it to a person who claims to be one of the top psychics on the planet. And he holds on to it. He keeps it with him day and night. Won't let anybody touch it. That's his choice. But then again, imagine analyzing it to see what it really is. John Lennon was given this, and he gave it away. Within that month, he was killed in New York City. Whether it was protection for John Lennon, whatever it was, because the government was on his butt for 10 years. They were afraid John Lennon could create world peace, which they definitely didn't want. There's a lot of stuff in between all the lies and all the other stories that you can put everything together. Everything fits with the other parts of the puzzle, believe it or not. Good, better, and different. Now, why is the government making a new puzzle? Because it's called the UN Agenda 21 to 30. What they plan on doing to the whole planet and what they are doing to the planet. Not that it has anything to do with your spirituality, but then again, here's the thing. Things happen around you, take your attention away from where it should be. All right? It's easy to say, well, I can stay focused, but stay focused on what? What are you focusing on? All right, you can focus on aliens, you can focus on religion, you can focus on food. But is it helping you move forward spiritually? Is it helping you to become aware? And then the old word is, what are you aware of? When these people say they're an aware being, really? I guarantee you know zero about a real God. I guarantee you know zero about the realms after the soul plane. I could go. Most of these people don't want the truth. They're happy with the lies. And here's the things that keep everybody here. I call them a religion that I was in called the five passions of the mind: lust, greed, anger, vanity, and attachment. I break them down to what they really are: sex, drugs, cheap thrills. All right. And then the idea of, well, I don't want to get into the aspects of sports. Sports is one of the most useless things on the planet. Oh, it's entertainment. Entertainment, they don't have to charge money for entertainment, or they shouldn't, especially football, baseball, hockey, and all that. But they get paid super high quantities of money. Why? Because they control people. You remember when we were young, they were pushing Coca-Cola, which had Coke in it. They were promoting hot dogs and cigarettes and beer. I mean, they're the ones that control the whole United States and probably part of the world. It never deceased. I mean, cigarettes are having a harder time than liquor is. I mean, they didn't outlaw liquor, or they don't plan on doing that anytime soon. But they're really trying to stop you from smoking at every level. So, and now they're pushing hemp on everybody. So it's a combination of the game that people can make money on it, that's all that matters. It's not about life. It's not about love, or a true love. It's not about compassion. It's not about any of the words that make people feel good on this planet. And then I'm going to go into great detail about the five senses of the body. They're useless if you're trying to become spiritually aware. Well, no, you need them. No, they all keep you attached to this physical reality. They're senses that tune into this reality, not the higher realms. They know nothing about the higher realms. You don't see light shooting around the street when you're here. When you leave your body, you can. When you get away from this body and this realm, there's so much truth. And it's not that complicated. If you start your mission, start your life, rearrange it a little, focus, and bring it into it. Listen to Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, the Pope, Dalai Lama. All these people have stories to tell. Are they helping you become some? Oh, I listen to them, I feel good. Feeling good. Going back to the mind is telling you that you feel good. Having sex, the mind telling you, oh, you feel good. You think sex, when it was first created for life, it was to give them a happiness feeling, make them feel good? Think about animals. They have sex usually, what, a month every year? They're not like some animals, cats and dogs, like to have sex all the time, but and they don't even care. But there's multiple things happening. So here's the thing, people. We do the show every Tuesday. Send a link to everybody you can, if you even like the show or not. That's your choice. We don't force anything on people. We hope you got something out of it. We're open for truth. We're open for people to tell their story. If it's real, come on, give us your truth. Tell us your truth. We'll go into it. But we're not here to promote liars and people telling everything's good, aliens are good, everything's going to be okay. I don't promote lies. I can't. People are begging me and telling me and calling me names because I'm not showing all these pictures of UFOs. I can't. Most of the pictures I shot with Sergeant L18 were copyrighted under his copyright. I signed it. I didn't care. I wasn't involved with saving pictures. or videos. It's not about that. I realized the only thing that's important is becoming spiritually aware. Aliens are not going to help you do that. Oh, a spiritual race. Spiritual aliens only mean technically advanced than we are, not spiritually advanced. They don't believe in a God. All right, deities were as well considered gods to people in older days, but it was aliens and deities that were playing with the human races, teaching them a lot of fake stories. All the stories in the Egyptian pyramids and what they wrote, and even about reincarnation, they have no clue what it means. The truth that the aliens gave them about it were all lies. Go watch history. Watch what they did to the bodies to make sure that they can reincarnate into it and all. It's all lies. It's twisted truth that aliens do not know. And they sure wouldn't want us to know, because they destroyed Atlantis, and that was the only time humans were actually in the golden age. And it had nothing to do with gold. All right, just so you know. People, time's running out. I'm not going to be here much longer. I don't want to be. I want to put truth out there for anybody that's willing or wants it, that they can tune in and work on it for themselves. Meditation is the biggest word on this planet to become aware. If you do the standard techniques and the way they tell you, what do you get out of it? Oh, I feel good. Feeling good goes right back to the mind telling you everything's good and it feels good. No, it's not about feelings. Soul, which I said learning to leave the body, leaves the body. It doesn't take the five senses of the body with it. All right? It has a different sense, a way it senses and all the way it perceives things. It doesn't have a brain that we perceive. It doesn't have a heart that we perceive here in the physical world. The astral body is a lot lighter, and the higher you go into the higher realms, which people cannot talk about, the body becomes much lighter, and it's not male, female, or any of those kind of things. But I will tell you this. In the astral plane, you can be male or female, and you might change sexes. But it's not soul that's changing. It's only the body, or the car that I call it, that you move into or travel in. It's not you. So when people say, well, I'm a girl, I'm a man, I'm this or that, say you're an elephant. Do you believe in evolution? Say you're a cat. Say you're a buffalo. Whatever. You can say whatever you want, but is it real? And is it really important? Truth in the word of what it stands for is important. I don't know what's going on with my computer, but somebody's playing with it. People, the government usually doesn't harass me, at least as of right now, as of yet. But I've been promoting Sean David Martin, and the government's going to probably try to kill him soon. People, I'm just saying, he's really an important person in the UFO world. He was given a whole bunch of fake stories that he did and what he was doing. He never became a multimillionaire, stealing millions of dollars and all that. No, he didn't. Sorry, people. I was good friends with him. I was in his house. It was a railroad car, very small, had an old antique car. He did the whole life expos, new life expos. He donated all that money back. He made his money on his newsletter. He wasn't a thief. I mean, he did something, but he wasn't aware of what was happening. And it was a bad thing because many people lost money. All right, including me. But am I holding that against him anymore? No. I did for a while. I said, you're a psychic. You should know better. Especially when it comes to investing all your money. I mean, people lost 150,000, 190,000, 90,000. I only lost 4,000. But again, the person that took all the money was a disabled paraplegic, and he put all the money offshore. And in the end, he had to turn himself in because he took millions of dollars from the mob as well. I don't even know what happened to him after that, and I really don't care. I mean, I know I'm not getting my money back because nobody knows where it is, where he hid it, but not like he's ever going to get to use it. So, we can get into the wrong things following the best people we know, because everybody doesn't know everything. I know a lot. in my viewpoint, I know a lot of things we shouldn't get into. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. Am I saying everybody should do that? No. Is it going to make you more spiritual? No. What makes you more spiritual? You need to understand that question for yourself. What will make you more spiritual? And what does that mean? Ask a spiritual person claiming to be spiritual, what does that mean to them? Oh, you're going to hear stupid answers. I send unconditional love to the world. I heal people. Really? If you could heal people, heal the world. You know, scenarios. I'm not going to get into healing because I'm against it. Your karma is your karma and nobody can take it away. You pay for it. Period. All right, you work it out in this lifetime, next lifetime, or many after that. And unless you're ready to finish working them out, you're going to keep creating more. People don't want to hear that. Jesus took my sins. Jesus didn't take anything from you. Why do you think you're here? Why don't you think you're sitting up in heaven or whatever? My book, The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, is the most important thing I ever did. And it probably will stay the most important thing I ever did. All right? Because it's the ultimate truth. What Jesus came here to teach. All right, people, guess what? Love did not exist before 2,000 years ago. I bet you didn't know that. Oh, the Egyptians and none of them loved women the same. I mean, it wasn't about an equal relationship, what we perceive love is, in aspects of each other. Women were never respected, ever. Joan of Arc was probably a very spiritual woman, young woman who was killed very young. But how many women do you see with any kind of big publicity in the Bible as being an important spiritual person? None. Man tries to deny that fact. All right? And women have been persecuted for the longest time. When Jesus came and married Mary Magdalene, had a child, they could perceive and understand the way he was to Mary Magdalene. Jesus was killed before the child was born, so he didn't get to see his child in a physical body. But as far as the rest of it goes, they started looking at love in a relationship. So it became a reality. And it's not the most important word on the planet. It definitely is not. Every psychic, every spiritualist, every person quoting, saying they're a new age person, say love is the most important thing. Conversation with God. I debated him 10 times. He goes, I'll send you I don't want his book. He has no clue what he's talking about. I challenge these people, but none of them have any balls, and I hate to say that. I'll debate anybody that claims that they know God, anybody that claims any of these things that they're claiming, what spiritual means. So tomorrow, I'm speaking with Eugene Braxton. I might be bringing him on my show. He claims to be the top mystic on the planet. That's a very important statement to say it. So yeah, I'm going to have a conversation with him. If I think I could talk with him without any major serious problems, I will bring him on the show. I'll promote it. I'll tell you when and where. Because you need to listen to it. Because I need to listen to it. I want to hear what he's going to say and how he's going to prove anything he says. All right. When you claim, I don't claim things. I was psychic. I used about 28 different psychic abilities. They are real and they are really dangerous. I can't even repeat one of the things I did, and I won't ever. I have to deal with God with that alone. All right. Psychic abilities aren't the right to become God. In Atlantis, we were all gifted that way. We all had 32 psychic abilities. We all knew what they were, how to use them, and the right time to use them. We didn't talk. We didn't have to. You knew what a person was thinking, feeling. You couldn't lie. You couldn't cheat. You didn't eat animals. You didn't kill people. You didn't abuse people. It was the Garden of Eden. It was the only time mankind was in that place of being in the golden age. Very few people understand that. It was 3 alien races that came and destroyed it. They didn't want that. They don't understand. They don't have feelings and emotions like we do. I mean, it's one step getting closer to being able to understand awareness. Without feelings and emotions, you'll never understand awareness. You'll never understand life. Technology has nothing to do with spiritual awareness, spiritual growth, or anything pertaining to it. It has nothing beneficial to do with life itself. Science also corrupts the things we already know. Native people, Aborigine people, know whatever sickness you have, there's a cure for it in nature right near wherever it came from. That's a fact. Native people came up with the cancer answer. It's out there. You can still make it or get it. See, people, the native people have been persecuted. Tribal people have been persecuted to the max, destroyed, taken out. Realize 50 million native people that lived here over 400 years ago are gone. There's less than 750 million people left. And when I say native, I mean 100% full-blood native people. All right? And the true people, the only true people in the United States that were native were the Hopi people. And nobody wants to hear that either. Well, we came from the black people. No, we didn't. Nobody came from a different color tribe. All right, we have the same DNA. Well, you know, crossbreeding and all that stuff we have been doing for, 30,000 years? But remember, tribal people, the Hopi people lived underground. Proven. We didn't have flashlights or anything like that. How did we do it? All right. We could create light with a third eye. And they're things that people don't talk about because they don't have the ability to do it or want to put the energy in to learn how to do it or care to. So there's many things going on that are critically important for soul to learn. And then it has to push it through the mind to get the mind to understand it. Because it's an open battle. I will give you, if you come to this workshop, I'll give you a real simple technique to learn how to listen to soul. It's real easy. There's things you need to do to survive. Know what's right and wrong. Not just, well, let's see which one's right or wrong. That's not the right step to take. And you don't let somebody do something if you know it's wrong. Here's the thing. I'll give you one important spiritual law, which is the most important law that exists. It's called the law of uninterference. You're not allowed to interfere in anything a person does or is unless you're asked or invited into it. Oh, well, you can't. Well, no, you don't have the right to do those things. When you say, I'm praying for the world to become better, better at what? What you think is right? See, that's called voodoo, witchcraft. It's called control. Every soul's here to learn for itself what it is. That's all. Nothing else. Not to learn what everybody else is. And to believe you become part of that? Why in the world would you want to be part of a consciousness that's so evil and negative? Oh, when I die, I'll become part of the universal consciousness. Meaning what? The ones that are putting all the horrible thoughts and energy into this reality? We need to take a step out of that, not into it. So this workshop's I could probably do it for about 4 weekends in a row. I'm going to try to do it in 2 weekends. I'm going to add a free weekend after the first 2 weekends are over. If anybody wants to go to those 2 weeks, I'm not doing it for the money. Realize that. I mean, money is always a beneficial thing in reality, but I'm not doing it for that. People do it to make money. All these UFO people are making money telling stories. Is it helping you? You spend $2,000. You just went to a UFO conference. It was $4,000 for a week. You come back. You go home. Oh, that was so much fun. What did you learn? The Pied Piper took all the aliens and took them somewhere? No, you're not going to learn anything important. The government's not going to release anything important either. And there's many reasons for that. They can't say what they did with aliens. They cannot. They can't say they allowed them to abduct people. Edom and all the other words that go along with it, then we wouldn't be relating to our government at all. And there would be whatever, who knows what could happen. They can't come out and say that. And all these UFO people, we want disclosure. Did you see a UFO? Yeah, that's your disclosure. Are you going to talk to those aliens and ask them why they're really here? No. You got people like Stephen Greer. Sorry, everybody. He's one of the most evil people in the UFO world because he's not telling anything important. He's putting lots of lies out there. Oh, aliens are good. There's other people, Cameron and other people like that say aliens are good. They didn't deal with them directly, and if they did, it was a programmed idea they were given. Aliens don't need us. As far as brain-wise or spiritual-wise, food-wise, they do. When we go to another planet, what do you think we're going there for? To find a place that we can get away from this planet, for one. But they're always looking for food and money and gold and silver and everything that they can make money on. Now, in our own world, our country has turned their face against the Tibetan people. Why? Here's a race. They pray half of the day or all day. They're mostly in poverty, begging for help because China is starting to kill and destroy all of Tibet, and nobody helped them. They were setting the priests and the children were setting themselves on fire, begging the Dalai Lama, begging for a country to come help them. And not one country would even help them. You know why? Countries only help people that give them something back. If Tibet was going to give them gold bricks or some kind of uranium, plutonium, or whatever, they might have helped them. But they don't do things unless they get something back. They don't do it because they have compassion for a country or people. Even leprosy. We have the cure for leprosy. And here's something. Check it out. I didn't believe it. There's more people with leprosy now than ever. Why? Because nobody's willing to pay to ship the medicine into the country to help these people. We consider ourselves spiritual and loving and aware beings. Really? What are we aware of? Dying? Sex? Drugs? What are we aware of? Do we want to know what God wants for our reality? What He gave us, what we destroyed? Just the other thing is learning how to recognize your past lives. And that's going to take a lot of doing. You might be lucky. It happened to me real easy, but it doesn't happen that way for most people. But once you start, it opens the gateway so you can see and become aware. Aware of the word that means aware, not like, well, I'm aware because I said so. Knowing what you did in other lives. Knowing why you're still here. This is hell. You don't go down further into hell. Like Dante's Inferno says all these different levels of torture depending on what you did before you died. No. Soul. You, me, we all are soul. Not the same soul, but we all are soul. All right? You don't have to believe it. You can experience it. But you are here for that alone. Not anybody else. Anybody else's teachings, learnings, or what they're going to go through. It's what you can learn and what you're going to learn and what you should be doing in this lifetime to make sure you don't have to come back. This is the only place you get to see, feel, and watch pain, suffering, all that. The astral plane, soul, cannot be stabbed, cannot be frozen, cannot be any of the words we assume that you can do to a physical body. You can't cut a soul's head off, or all those things. And when you're on an astral plane, you can't. I'm not going to say you can't. Most souls cannot hurt another soul. I mean, kill another soul, sorry. You can throw bad energy and all those kind of things. It's like a game which you're learning to let go of there. You're taking steps beyond this realm because you didn't learn much here, or you did, you learned enough to get there. It's complicated, and it's really going to be complicated to do my discourse workshop. But I'm hoping a few souls that really want to take a giant step and move from this reality in awareness to who and what they truly are. So with that, people, my email is hawksblood1@aol.com. Text me if you want my first or second book. They're quite old already. My newest book, The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, is really important. In fact, you can buy that online. My manual for seeing a UFO is free. It's a PDF file. Anybody wants it, text me and I'll send it to them. So with that, people, I know I kept it going, but I want to put a little more stuff out there for you to think about, other than aliens are good, aliens are bad. It doesn't matter. It's not where your focus really needs to be on. And if you are protected, they cannot abduct you, just so you know. With that, till next week, or I'm probably doing another show this week. Peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, I hope you get it. I hope that's what you want and you find it. Always know that there's always another step to take in unfoldment and growth to find who and what you really are. Because it doesn't matter. And you're not here to save the planet. Nobody is, and nobody ever will be. Nobody ever did. Nobody can. But we can destroy reality. It's a contradictory. We can't save it, but we can destroy it. So that's something you should really think about. Okay, I'm not going to go on any further. Thank you for listening. Send this link to your friends if you can, anybody you know. Till next time.